It is. What is
this? They foxed me when they first changed it, and then they foxed me again because it's
David Blau, 178 and 2 touchdowns.
That's bonus points. Oh, good lord!
When they first changed it. This guy's an absolute machine.
Yeah, bonus points if you started him.
If anyone started him,
that would be a desperation.
Wow.
Right. Now we're ready. Okay.
Turns out he's a serviceable QB. What's
who knew?
For a week, Right.
The Bears D has fallen very, very far.
Yeah, it has.
Right, here we go.
The whole Liam Kumar Day effect. Not really help.
Nigel couldn't make it. I'm Grant Mendon always said he could make it.
Don't take this home. Phil, Predator guy, always doing well. He is a shocking person. You guys got a trophy? No. It was pre-bit.
Well, like from Rashad Mendon.
Hello and welcome to the LSU Report. Of course, we are chatting about Rashad Mendenhall.
He is a legend, though, isn't he? I mean, say for my team, he's a legend. Not for anyone else's team, but for my team.
I had him in 2010, I think, the year I won.
Well,
perhaps
there you go.
Something like, or maybe the year after.
I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, and the best thing about that jingle is I've not updated it since the first season of the LSU Report, and it's aged pretty well in terms of comedic value.
Well, that's it. That's true. There's so much more that we can put in now. I mean, but
yeah,
it's still good for nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly, and because I mainly can't be bothered to go back and change it. But don't fret, because while I can't be bothered to change that soundbite for the show, we do have a new soundbite, which we'll come on to shortly. But before that, I need to welcome the co-host. What am I doing? He's back after a 1 week absence. Why? It's my computer always trying to restart itself. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm really well. Yes, it's great. It's great. Well, we don't do Thanksgiving in the UK, obviously. For those who do stumble across our pod, which some people have.
Yes.
I don't know how you have, but you have.
Yeah.
And so we obviously don't do that here, but we don't have a lot to be thankful for, because we basically sent all you lot to America. So you're thankful for your land.
To starve without knowing how to farm, which of course is how Thanksgiving became.
Exactly. So we've got all the we're the country with all the bounty and the food, and that's it. Well, now we've sort of given that to America. They've taken that.
The bounty may go, as may the food.
That's it, indeed. But I will call this is the strict. This is the I'm a celebrity, get me out of here pod, because we've got T-minus 1 hour.
Yeah.
Before.
Otherwise,
that's it. Literally, the screen will just go black.
Yeah, I'm going to be relegated to the bench by my girlfriend. Otherwise,
100%. So we're going to attempt to do this in a classic LSC pod whistle stop thing we used to before we started talking so much. Get this done in an hour.
We did, but now that we'll see how the playoff race is shaken, there are some pointless games, both last week and on the schedule, that we don't need to lament.
Exactly that. We're not going to go through everything in great detail this week. No. We're really just going to go through the stuff that has any sort of significance when we get to the previews. But the reviews we can do, because basically, if you're in the review, that's probably the last time you're going to be relevant this year. So
probably
enjoy that.
Enjoy. So without further ado, because we don't need to lament anymore, we will get to the league news. Is of course Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to anyone that cares to receive a happy Thanksgiving. We are watching the Detroit Lions and the Bears as we speak. I mean,
this game is, I don't know if this is a level of mediocrity really, but it's not bad. It's exciting. It's exciting.
You know what? It's been a much better game than on paper it looked like it would be, with David Blau starting at the quarterback for the Lions and Mitch Trubisky being Mitch Trubisky.
Yes.
I'm not sure who's the better quarterback at the moment, but we'll come on to that. Oh, I did hear a funny thing. I'm going to steal it from the CBS Fantasy podcast.
Okay.
Are you a fan of The Simpsons? Or have you?
Absolutely.
Then I'm just going to sing this and you'll know exactly what I'm on about. David Blau, that's his name, that name again, it's David Blau.
Is that time of the year as well? Is it?
Exactly, it works on many accounts. So. Anyway, that's the highlights, because we had no other news. Key transactions.
To be fair, David Blau is ploughing through.
Yeah, he is. Which, so our first key transaction of the week was Jameis Winston for Jacoby Brissett, $76.
I mean, what is this?
By Ixan. And now, look, we've said it at least a couple of times that he was the top option on the waiver in terms of a QB start in a week, and he has been pretty good the last few weeks. And as we enter week 13 and 14, obviously the waiver money is worth less and less in real terms. So if there's a quarterback that can get you over the line, why not pay 76?
Well, I think so. I mean, if he ended up winning the league because of this, then I'm sure that we're all going to turn around and go, well, it's an inspired choice. If, however, he starts throwing 5 picks a game for the next 3, then maybe not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. He's got the Jags this week away, so not the worst of the matchups. But
we can see the matchups. We can. I mean, so this is
the one.
The beauty of that. We'll come to that later.
Yeah, indeed.
Undoubtedly, we want to play.
Yeah, and the other one I've got here is Chicago Bears for David Johnson. $5 Ben necessities. Now, this is actually interesting on a couple of counts. So we'll start with David Johnson, a former first-round pick this year, who's now been dropped twice in the same amount of weeks, basically.
He's fallen down a long way.
How the mighty have fallen, indeed. And the Bears' defense, before this podcast, had we started before this game kicked off, I would have said, unbelievable play against David Blau, third-string quarterback who's never played a snap in the NFL. And now it's actually looking like a really dumb move. Who saw that one coming?
That's it, indeed. That's it. David Blau watched the space. It's it. Last time undrafted free agent QB came in third choice.
Yeah, and right now no one started him, so we'll tell you, he's got 2 touchdowns, 170 plus yards in this one. So
looking like Tom Brady, to be honest with
you. That's the Bears D, I think, helping him out big time there. So
Chuck Pagano doing his thing there.
Yeah. So that is the news. So we will now get to the next segment, which is of course Debate Corner, which is where the new jingle will be revealed. Are you ready for? Are you ready for it? Here we go.
So ready for
Here
this.
We go.
Go on. Oh dear me. That's it. Hey, John Burke.
You know what? I thought about it. I was like, this has to be the jingle. Like, it just fits in so many levels.
I totally agree.
So there you go. The Debate Corner is the new official spokesman, so John Barker.
Love that.
He
can come on. He's
he's not covering election night for Sky News.
Oh, is he?
Between that.
Okay.
Not doing much. So,
okay.
And you did actually say 2 weeks ago, Chris, that you had a topic for Debate Corner. You were not here last week to talk about it, but you are back now. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and if you can remember, we can discuss yours. If not, we've got many on the AGM docket still to go.
Yes, I think you better do that because
that's fine.
I cannot remember what I was going to think of, to be honest with you. No, I really can't. It might come to me. I should write it down.
That's all right. So far we've discussed the roster review, the waiver review. Last week we looked at playoff review with Ross when he was here. And I think, so we'll maybe cover off 2 at the same time here. So let's go with a special teams debate on Debate Corner, because I have these 2 things on the AGM as a discussion. Not everything is a change, remember, it's a discussion.
Yep.
So we have DST scoring review, namely which I've written down, but it can be expanded. Removal of yard points.
Okay.
And also, this was actually brought up in a previous AGM, negative kicker points, as if they miss a field goal, PAT, and or just as another reduction of the 50-yard field goal to 3 points.
Well, I think the 50-yard field goal is a feat enough that it should be remaining as it is.
Like I said, I put it on just as a thought. Like, it's not like a touchdown is 6 points whether it comes from a yard out or 90 yards out. I thought in the same breath, it's that's just one of the things that always has been, and it's fine to question it.
Absolutely. So let's take it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Let's go with the kicker scoring first, because that's probably easier.
Yeah.
I think if it's you do anything, we should do a tiered kicker system. So it's 30 yards or less is 3.
Oh, so you would 40, even go even further and add more into it.
I'd add more into it. Yeah. So 40 yards or less is the next amount. 50 yards or less is another amount, and 50 yards plus is another amount.
Right.
That's it. That's what I would do. And then because you had more points. Overall, you could do negative kicker score.
Yeah, that's right. If you added some points.
So what you add, you take away, and all that sort of thing. Sure. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, as we know, kickers are very random by their nature. So part of me thinks don't change it because it could be absolute chaos. But then the other part is, you know.
It makes it fun in a position.
And then it's not about slamming a guy in there, because obviously there's kickers that are more efficient and miss less field goals, as in a Justin Tucker.
And also it's whether I think that you added a complexity to a position which is, you know, at the moment is so interchangeable because of how they are. Yeah. So the guys who, like Matt Prater, for example, who's playing right now, who is favoured on long field goals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it. Would be a lot more valuable. Mm-hmm. Than a guy like Vinatieri this year who doesn't take him. He said who misses a lot and also doesn't take him from 50 yards plus anymore.
Before we go into the DST part of it though, would you do tiered negative points? So would you say if you miss a 50-yard field goal, that's only -1 because that's difficult, or maybe but then if you miss something like a 20-yard field goal, would you do -4 because that's hilarious?
Well, it is, yeah. So
or a PAT.
I think a missed PAT. I think it's 1 point for a missed field goal and 2 points for a missed PAT.
Okay. All right. There you go.
1 point for any miss anywhere and 2 points because missed PAT as a professional you shouldn't be doing.
No, very true.
So much like an interception as a QB. So that's what we should do.
And then so the DST part. So this one was actually raised to me by someone else, removing the yardage points, because we see, as with the Patriots DST, they were absolutely crazy at one point, and I think the standard is you get the 10 points. Start with the 0 for a shutout, obviously, and then it's just points and then interception, sacks, and so forth. But I added in yardage points because that's how it used to be way back when, and I just kept it status quo. And again, we've never questioned it. So the thinking is some defenses have been ridiculous this year, and they are kind of overpowered. Now, you could look at the Patriots defense and say, I think it was one particular week when this was raised, they got something like 42 points. Had you adjusted the yardage points out, they would have got 36 or 35, which is still crazy, but at least brings it down a bit. What do you think?
Well, I think that for everything in the league needs to be positive. So I would always err on the side of more points for sacks, interceptions, things that are good.
So
scoring.
You would actually enhance the points for those things.
100%, as opposed to taking things away. Now, obviously, we see a lot, in low-scoring games, where you see yardage points making a massive difference.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go.
No,
because sometimes you've got teams that have a pick six, three sacks interception, and they score 8 points.
Because I see what you're saying, in a high-scoring game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even in some low scorers as well, it's like your defense last week, right? That's it. You played the Bears.
Bears, I did play.
That's it. You scored 8 points. You see the Jets on the bench. Yes, they limited Oakland to 3 points. They only limited. Who they were playing last week? So
the Bears. I can't even.
14, 17.
The Giants.
That's it. Yeah. So, but it wasn't like it was a close game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Low scoring, close game.
Yeah, not a lot of offense.
But again, you get gashed that way.
Yeah.
So I think the reduction of those would make life a lot easier because those high powered 49ers D for example would be really valuable. Yeah. Whilst on the other side, it's like the Jets for example.
Makes other teams more
exactly that. Those who limit.
Yeah.
Those who limit, but also go on the attack as well. Are valuable. So I think that every change that we make has to improve scoring.
Got it. Okay.
As opposed to to gritty.
Sure, got it. Games, And it is worth noting as well. So it's pretty hard to get the full 10 for the yardage because it's 0 to I think 99 yards. That's so
happens. Hard. Yeah.
Then even then 100 to 199, you get it every now and then. That would be the 7 points, but typically it's going to be. So you're really only getting 4 points usually in a week.
I'd like to see defenses as the foundation for every team. Because that's the thing in the NFL, it's exactly the same. It's true. The defense is the foundation for every offense.
Yeah. Indeed. So that was Debate Corner. I'm going to play the jingle again. Get some wrong with it. And to take us out again, Mr.
It's just so good.
And of course, please do comment along if you're watching. I see there's a couple of people. So we will get into the games now. We have done a lot of nonsense to start with, so let's get into something that you actually came to see. So last week's marquee matchup, Ross chose it, and I think he actually... This is what happens when you don't join the podcast, Chris. I once again end up somehow in the marquee matchup.
I don't really get how this was the marquee matchup.
No, I let the the co-host pick, and this is the one he chose. So,
okay.
I'm happy about it though. So we'll start off with it. Last week's marquee matchup: Gridiron Gang against the Dream Team. Last week it was a battle for the bottom as Gridiron Gang looked to get another win. They only had 2 wins, were riding a 4-game loss streak. Meanwhile, the Dream Team theoretically could stay alive in the playoff with an absolute must-win game. They did not win though, as they lost this, surprisingly I should say, 102-67. Looking down the lineup for Gridiron Gang, Drew Brees gets 28, DeAndre Hopkins gets 21, and DJ Moore explodes for 25. Not a lot else behind that, but it was enough because the Dream Team only got 11 from Carson Wentz, who couldn't keep hold of the ball. Zeke Elliott got 13 in a tough matchup against the Pats, and Ertz got 15 as well, but that was it in a total to 67. The history in this matchup is now here 4-7 in favour of the Dream Team.
So,
Dream Team's out, eliminated.
Dream Team are gone,
done.
That's it, I was going to say. And this was coming for a long time, I have to say. I really do think that the Dream Team had a bit of a stinker of a year. There wasn't a lot of life in the team throughout the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he was let down massively by the fact that his running core just couldn't really get it together.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, you look at Elliott and Mixon, you go absolute studs, but they just didn't quite work out.
No.
I mean, at least Zach Ertz looked fancy viable this week, and he. Despite
he was literally
loss.
the Eagles' top receiver. They had nothing else.
That's right.
Jeffrey was out. Obviously, Jackson's out. Aguilar was out. He was the top target.
That's it. So, and you can see that there. So, just a bit of a meh down year for Viv. But that's it. I think with him actually being here next year and being able to affect his choice in the draft, massively different.
We do find that's key. I think if for anything else, that it feels like it's your team. Nige mentioned that a few years ago. I can appreciate that.
I said, but he did fairly well with his. So.
That's true. Yeah, not always. There was a couple of years when Nige didn't do well with the order, but yes, you're right.
But he did manage to find a way. I think eventually when you get used to it, it's all good.
Yeah.
But as for your team, this is the sort of performance you expect from these guys. I mean, it makes a massive difference for you that you actually have a QB that fires. I mean, having Drew Brees in there.
Yeah,
I think
I got off the Brady train. He's still on my team. He, I don't know whether he'll play next week or not, but he's not been the same as he was at the start of the season.
100%. I think that having Brees back in there makes a hell of a difference to you. He's always been a great fantasy QB.
Yeah.
Hopkins exactly the sort of return you'd expect to see. It's a shame he hasn't been able to produce that more often.
No,
And DJ Moore, great value pick up there. So,
and he's been on an absolute tear recently. Yeah. Exactly what I wanted from my 6th round pick.
100%. Yeah. So I think that's this is exactly what you saw. As for the marquee matchupness of this, I don't see the value here, but at the same time, there wasn't that much else to go with.
No, that was part of the issue.
You had to pick someone.
That was part of the issue. And with that, I also avoid setting a new career worst record, which I'm elated by.
Yes,
always positive.
Look, there's
silver linings.
There's life in that team.
Yeah, finally. Next game then, we have Forge Flyers against Pakistan. In a week where Forge Flyers could have signed, sealed and delivered their passport to the playoffs, quite frankly, they choked it away against Pakistan, who's had a bit of a lost season, but has shown a lot of signs of late. Didn't quite click, but they got the win anyway, 72-71. Josh Allen got 23 points. He's been a revelation for Pakistan. Le'Veon Bell got 11. He's been pretty good too. And Devontae Adams got 12, who proved the difference in this game on a Sunday night comeback for Pakistan. Meanwhile, for Chris, Prescott struggled in an away game to New England, only getting 7. Christian McCaffrey was pretty much the only player that fired. Got 25 points. And the special teams chipped in with 10 and 16, but it was not enough. Chris, you are 8-4 now. And your record against Pakistan is surprisingly bad. You're 1-5 against Pat all time. Pat goes to 5-7.
Every year I lose like this to Pat. Seriously, you look back over the history of this matchup, and there is like 1 or 2 point wins here, there, and everywhere. Look, I got nothing to say this week for my team. That was
just a bad week. You could have played a couple of players on the bench that were. I'm not going to slam you though.
No,
they didn't do
the thing
a lot.
is that I'm not going to lie to you.
I did see as well on the you can see the on the owners or the transactions things lineup changes. You took Waller out for Hollister right at the last.
I sat on the loo. Honestly, this was me. I sat on the loo, my upstairs toilet, like 45 minutes before the game, and I was going Waller or bloody Hollister. I said, right. I said, you know what? I think that Hollister's got a better QB in a better matchup. That's it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. He's a target.
Really, you were right, because the Oakland were terrible.
Oh, they really were.
And like I said, I'm not going to slam you for it, because it was the difference between 2 point and a 4 point player.
It wasn't him. That's it. I'm going to say this. It was the bloody Colts on Thursday night again.
Yeah.
Thursday night again.
T.Y. Hilton killed.
That's it. T.Y. Hilton came in. I think great matchup there. Playing Houston in Houston. Only target that they've got.
Just wasn't healthy.
Snap count. It wasn't healthy. And that's the problem, is they won't. They would. I would much rather have said, you know what, he's not going to. He's been on a snap count, and then that's great, because then play someone else. Yeah. But look, there's
Thursday night game.
Yeah, again, Thursday night games again. But don't worry about it. Yeah, because what we've got to worry about here is going forward.
I think this is more of a blip. Your team has been a lot better than this. Yeah, everyone has a down week. The reason, so you've probably seen that. Sorry to keep going.
No, that's all right.
The title of the episode is "Up is down, left is right, and rain is dry." Because last week really was opposite week. My team won. Yeah. Chris's team lost. This wasn't it. We'll see in the other recaps.
It was just ridiculous. So yeah, these things happen. So and there were some good matchups in there.
Yeah,
but what I will blame is Devontae Adams on bloody Monday night. Yeah. That's it. 43 yards of a touchdown, no problem. It's that 2 point conversion.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, seriously. But look, fair play to Pat. He's hanging there. I will say that the play of Josh Allen throughout the year is inspired. Absolutely inspired.
He is the new Cam Newton, basically.
100%. It's just a damn shame that the rest of his team hasn't been that good.
Yeah. But he has been better of late. So, Chris, you fall to 8-4. You haven't quite clinched yet.
I get to do it in style this week, so it's not a problem.
We'll get on to that. So, next one then was the Tuck Farts against, I don't remember what they were called last week. Old Folk You, I think. It's called that. Old Folk You. The Tuck Farts took on Old Folk You last week. Tuck Farts had already pretty much clinched the playoffs, I think. Yep. No. They needed a win to clinch the playoffs for certain, but they'd almost pretty much got there. Meanwhile, Old Folk You, Coach Gardner, needed a win to stay alive in the playoffs, as has been the case all too often this year. Way too inconsistent. They only scored 54 points. Meanwhile, the Tuck Farts, feeling some early season vibes, they got 121, and they got it on the back of some really good plays. Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry. Who would have thought these two would have combined for near 60 points, 30 for Baker and 27 for Landry. Deebo Samuel as well was another great play. He got 11. And Mark Ingram as well. He's doing great things. 24 points too. For Old Folk You, Wilson disappointed with 12 points. The Seahawks don't necessarily do well going cross country. No. It was a bit of a weird game though. Singletary got 11, but really nothing else there. So Old Folk You is out. The Tuck Farts, they have now clinched. Not quite got the lead yet. And the history of this matchup is now 2-3 in favour of the Tuck Farts.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, Phil's week this week. He's definitely played the matchups correctly. I mean, so you look at this, and he's improved that in that sense. And I say there's not many times that I will praise Phil on how he does things, but let's be honest, it's a very Phil-like thing. And off goes. Let's just look at
Pro Scarborough. This Lions team's a joke. Yep, they're still beating the Bears.
Yep, absolutely. That's it. Just tells you what you need to know. Look, Baker Mayfield is such a Phil play. This is. But he's playing in Miami. He's playing them at home. Yeah. Writing's on the wall there, quite frankly. Yeah. And
I was wrong. I'll happily admit I was wrong. I didn't necessarily think they would do awfully. I just didn't necessarily think they would do great. But they did do great.
They did do great. That's it. Absolutely. And I think that
not that it mattered.
Well, that's it. And it just helps that Landry was the beneficiary of that for sure. Yeah. But aside from those two plays, Ingram's been great for him all year. bringing Golden Tate back in, he scores a touchdown, that's fine. Deebo Samuel's been great for him the last 3 weeks. So he's got the semblance of a really good team, and if this week you bring Mayfield out and you put Mahomes back in, and that's a really enviable position to be in.
They needed to as well. It was Mahomes' bye.
Yeah, exactly that. So you do that. There's not a lot behind it. I mean, say Larry's been he's been catching up with him. Patriots defense, say
bad matchup,
and they see why he's dropped him quite rightly. That's fine. Keenan Allen, spotty this year because the QB play's not been great. But other than that, the guys that are on the field at that time, it's 121 points. You cannot beat that. As well as for Ollie's team, they still possess one of the best receiving cores in the league. They're just so woefully inconsistent.
They've just struggled with obviously the Rams on offense now. Goff's not playing well. It's not clicking. Jones is injured. Ryan's been injured. It's just
Wilson's been keeping them going. So he's really been the heartbeat of that. And
when he
doesn't play well, they don't play well. I think we've alluded to that in the past. It's all over for them this year. But but there's been shoots of recovery there, and not only that, he hasn't got to that 5-7 by pure luck. He has
had a good team. It's just been a bit more inconsistent than you like.
100%.
So we'll go on then to Ixan against Bucking the Trend. Ixan were looking to keep their 3-game win streak going as they led the Portsmouth division entering this one and hope to keep it that way. Meanwhile, Bucking the Trend were still in the playoff race. They were another one of the 5 win teams that absolutely must have won to keep their dreams alive, but they did not as they fell 98-74. Ixan now on a 4-game win streak and one step closer to the playoffs again. For Ixan, Jacoby Brissett only got 14, but Derrick Henry made up for it with 28. Calvin Ridley had a good day with it, 16-2, and George Kittle returning to the lineup was a massive boost for them. He got 19. The Browns kicker, Austin Seibert as well, he got 11. For Bucking the Trend, Daniel Jones, he got 19. Alvin Kamara, who's not been that good all year long, quite frankly, only got 10. James Washington, which was an absolutely spirited play, he got 16, and Matt Brady got 10, but wasn't enough. First time these guys have played each other, so Ixan takes the first game.
Yeah, I mean, Ixan have been great all year. They've been super consistent.
At one point, though, it looked like, much like your team, I'll bring up the chart. It looked like they were just going to okay, the chart's sorry, Chris. The chart's not loading, but at one point they had about half of Mike's score, and they only had Henry left to go and Kittle.
That's right.
That's all they had, and that was enough.
Yeah, well, that's it. As we all know, anyone who's well, me particularly, because I'm quite smug about this. If Derrick Henry against the Jags is assuring. Last year it was a stud, 2 games against them. This year, first game maybe a little bit less so, but this time roasted.
He's been a great pick for them all year. As well.
I agree. That's it. And so he should be. Anyone who watches him play, he is a machine. He's a complete beast. But the problem is that it's not the fact that he's not a beast; it's the fact that he's used in a way that doesn't necessarily complement his skill set. But I do think that they're seeing the light there now. Calvin Ridley, can I just say, we're talking about spirited plays. Well, I said that has been a spirited play for 3 weeks.
It's kind of tricky with Ridley. We'll bring up his point tracks because he has had good games, but he really does. He's a feast of famine play that you can see right there. It is all or nothing for him.
Yes, that's it. But from what they lose for him, he is taking every bit of volume that Julio ever had, just because he's been covered so much, I suppose.
It's like the Julio Roddy White back in the day.
Roddy White, man. Yes, 100%. Yeah, so that is a Forge Flies legend. Yes, another very, very decent points total for Ben. Though I would question Jacoby Brissett against Houston.
I don't. He had Rivers on the bye, but Rivers hasn't been announced. There's a reason he spent $76 on Jimmy Swinson. We've been saying for weeks.
Yeah, exactly. If there was a week to pick up Winston, it was last week because no one did.
And he actually had a good game against Atlanta.
That's right. For a lot less. On the other side, Mike's team is
they've done well with what they have.
A ramshackle bunch, but yes, that's it. They've done well. What I will say is that he has done very, very well picking up guys off the waiver. I love the fact he's been playing that all year. Hasn't never given up always carrying on, trying to make the team better.
Yeah.
As proven by the fact that he's playing Washington and Devontae Parker, two pickouts. Devontae Parker's been great, by the way. Just no touchdowns, but he's a yardage machine. It's just a shame that this draft maybe didn't work out quite as well as he thought.
I think he's still holding AJ Green.
AJ Green's still there. I think he's stubbornly doing that now. But
may as well with only 2 weeks.
Exactly that. But I'd say the team's just different from the start of the year. But only because of the coach. To get to 5-7, there's a lot.
It's a great achievement in your first year in the LSC.
I
many have done
think
worse.
so, very much so, and he can still get to 7-7 if he's lucky.
Yeah,
so you
never know. You never know. Next game then we have, which was a very interesting game for the playoffs. Arguably should have been the marquee matchup. It was. What was Ross's team name last week? I've already forgotten.
That's it. Don't know. Ross's team.
Though. The Dak Knight. The Dak Knight versus Tom's Tyrants. For the Dak Knight, a win would have assured playoffs for the first time since 2009 for Ross. But for Tom's Tyrants, they were another one of the 5-win teams who absolutely needed to win to give themselves any chance. And boy did they. Not only did they win, highest score in the week, 125 points. 67 points. You'd be forgiven for thinking which one was basically in the playoffs right now. Tom's Tyrants, absolutely great play of Sam Darnold. That's what we like to see. 32 points. Leonard Fournette got his first 2 touchdowns in a long time. He only had 1 on the year entering this game. He got 28 points. Chris Godwin absolutely erupted for 30 as well, and the 49ers brought it home with 18. For Ross's team, barely anything went right. Matt Ryan, he only got 8. And I think Michael Thomas, consistent as ever, 16. Kevin Coleman chipped in 11. Ravens D had a great day with 17. They still only got 67 though. Tom stays alive in the playoff race. Ross can still clinch it this week. History of this matchup all time. Tom's Tyrants are now 4-4 all time against Ross.
He can't, can he? He can't. We saw last year that Ollie came from nowhere to win the. Oh my word. That's it.
Anthony Miller with a big catch.
There we go. That's it. I wouldn't make a very good commentator. I'd just be like, oh my word. He can't, can he? We saw him last year making strides this time of the year. Came from nowhere to get into the playoffs. Upward trend, that sort of thing. For me, I think Tom's team has a lot of decent components. Yes, he's playing dull against Oakland, but he's been good the last few weeks. Yeah. Since he's recovered.
Oh yeah.
He's been great.
Kyler Murray was on a bye too, so another one of the teams that needed a QB.
Yeah, that's it. The issue that he's got is that he's got now 2 QBs who do very different things but score, who do rack up points. That's it. And I think when you've got someone like Kyler Murray on the bench...
It's been the problem for Tom all season long. Yeah. I understand the thing, because rookie quarterbacks typically are inconsistent by their nature, and Murray's not always been great, but he does have some really good games.
And he's got a flaw. He's always got a flaw. That's it. And we see that with Lamar. That's it. He's got a flaw. Now he's adding the massively explosiveness into his game. But Murray could do exactly the same thing next year once he's acclimatized. But getting value out of Fournette this time of the year is exactly what you want to see. Godwin particularly is so galling for me, but it's for him it's exactly what he drafted and what was expected. Chark's been good value. Carson's been, useful if not, that's it. But
we should point out as well, Alshon Jeffrey didn't even play in this game.
Exactly that.
Not Tom's fault, because he was slated to play. Everything was pointing towards him playing, and then 2 hours before, he's looking iffy. 9 minutes before, he's out. Great.
We can't base this on on one game, but the fact is that he's there. He's got players that can make a difference. Yep. He's just got to play the right players at the right time. And that's been the main problem all year for him. Ross, on the other hand, I think that without Cooper particularly, and without Jacobs playing well, they've got a problem.
They do.
Sure do. Michael Thomas has been a consistent thorn in everyone's side all year.
Tevin Coleman's been pretty consistent
and he's been okay.
Yeah.
But I think without a solid QB and one of his absolute studs playing well, he's got an issue. And I think that this time of the year, as I find, when players like that are completely out of form, or they're in teams that are out of form, so you look at the Raiders recently, they've been good at times midpoint of the year, but it
was always a trap game, that one going to the Jets. I don't know if you could and Ross certainly isn't one that's going to be playing.
Oh my word, and again. That's it. Anthony Miller
on the boundary.
That's huge.
Pulls it in. And Ross certainly isn't a one to tinker like me or you.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think even if you would you would necessarily.
I think that's where his success has been this year. The fact that he hasn't tinkered.
Yeah.
You know, so he's stuck with a winning formula. But there will be better weeks. He has been great. You know, and I still think that despite the loss here, he's still an outside chance. He's not outside chance to get into playoffs. So I think he will. Pretty much that. But I think that he's an outside chance when he gets to playoff. Being really dangerous.
Once you get there, it's
you just don't know with that team.
One more note on Tom as well. Of course, he won it one year where he started 2-5, came back. That was of course the infamous year where he had 400 points basically in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If he does that again,
it's pretty unbelievable. You know,
just stick him in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. I still think though that he's got an awful long way to go before he can beat Phil's big player.
Yeah, Tom's had some good weeks, but the consistency has not.
Yeah, I see. The consistency is entirely down to him.
Yeah, and our last game of the last week then, it's Bare Necessities against Bedetonators. The B-Bowl took place last week, and Bare Necessities, they were out of it. They were looking to end their 6-game slide at 4-7. Meanwhile, Bedetonators, again, last one of those 5-win teams on a 2-game win streak. They're trying to make a late push too. Absolutely needed to win, and when they did, 92-86, and it was all because of Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football. 46 points. Absolutely erased any deficit Bedetonators had, brought this one home for them. Only the special teams, Young Koo and the Browns defense were 10-12, went over 10. For Bare Necessities, they will absolutely be kicking themselves. They basically ended their loss streak. Deshaun Watson got 23, Nick Chubb got 22, Allen Robinson 19, great days from them. But the Rams defense cost them in a big spot, only getting 3 points, and they blew it. The history in this game, all time, Bare Necessities are 5-9 against Bedetonators.
Look, I think when you play any defense against the Ravens right now, you know what you're going to get. I don't care if it's at home, you know, because Lamar said he's taken games by the scruff of the neck all the time. It doesn't matter if it's East Coast, West Coast, North or South. He is just the man.
I think the problem is when Bare Necessities has a good year, and every year we say in the preseason, playing the waivers is what makes my dad's team
100%.
Gives it that X factor.
100%.
He obviously is on this awful slide, is eliminated for playoffs. I think he's just taken his eye off the ball. I'm amazed he's stuck with the Rams defense so long because they've not been good.
No.
Just changed that out and left someone else. But you know, you can see they have their game there, but they're certainly not a matchup proof game. That was not the matchup to play them. They might not have played a defense that would have got them. Then they would have needed 9. They would have needed 9, but it killed them.
Yeah, I think so. I think you know what you get, and I just think when you've got like a guy like James White, who again isn't the guy at the moment in New England, it's just a problem. Ollie's team's no better though. That's it.
We're saying it every week.
I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that he is a one man band. Yeah, that's it. I say one man team, and Aaron Jones. If his game skips,
but since Adams has been back, he's not getting those receptions anymore. They're going to Jamal Williams.
That's right. Yeah, it's a different game script completely.
And it was a tough defense this particular week.
But we've seen him blow up. But he has bailed him out. Do I think that is conceivable to continue? No way. Five touchdowns, that's stupid,
But that's not the only issue. Last week I said in this preview that I think I can't remember if I did. I'm pretty sure I picked my dad to win this.
Yeah.
Mainly because Ollie, despite where they've got to and some of the players they had, I know they were missing a couple or whatever, or had some tough matchups. But he is playing. I know we play the waiver wire and stuff. He's playing 3 guys he picked up off the waiver wire last week alone. Yeah. Adding Jamison Crowder, who he only picked up a couple weeks before. It's a terrible situation.
We laugh at Mike's team, but let's be honest. Look, if Mike had Lamar Jackson QB,
touchdown bears.
Oh, there we go.
David Montgomery.
Congratulations on it. Some more for you. Right, yeah. If Mike had Lamar Jackson throughout the course of the year, that paper over a lot of the cracks of the rest of his team, I think he wouldn't be necessarily where he is.
Yeah.
Ollie's on a very similar record.
I'm going to ask the question. No offense or anything intended.
Yeah.
Should the Detonators be doing better than they are?
What than that?
I mean, in the season in general, should they be better than 6-6 right now?
Not with that team. I mean, the fact is that they've got.
Okay, I guess the point I'm pointing at then is, has there been a shortfall in additions throughout the year?
I think that a lot of the moves that they've made are completely irrelevant because
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So you look at guys like. So you've got Jackson Jones. Obviously, he's had Rodgers, but you can only play one QB in a week.
And it was a good pickup for a week.
And Fuller, did he draft Kirk as well? Those are the only guys he drafted on his team. Out of those guys, week in, week out, he's only really been playing Jones and Jackson.
Yeah.
He hasn't had the free agents this year, which Ollie usually does get as well.
I
He'll pick up
agree.
one or two along the way.
I agree. That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, there's a need to want to play the waiver wire there because but it's whether or not people are good or not, and I don't think they necessarily need to be when you got Lamar on that team. You really don't need to be.
No.
You can afford to have less quality because you've got him there, and it seems to work for him. I said I don't think he makes playoffs. I don't think he deserves to get there. And I don't think that you find out in the power rankings a little later on in the week when I get him out to you that's the reason why he's a little bit further down. But he is the ultimate feast or famine team this year.
Yeah.
Because if he's not scoring 5 TDs,
Lamar Jackson, yeah.
If Lamar's not scoring 5 TDs, then he's down to 70 points or whatever, and that's it. And we're saying, wow, this is what's going on with last year's winner,
Yeah. And Ben Necessity won't lament on it too much. A better week by them, but we know what cost.
It's a shame.
That was the last game of last week then, so we will get to the power rankings will be on the way. Chris
they will.
Be
We're
right
halfway
this
through
week.
them. So.
Do you want to drop a teaser or anything? Up to you. I'm not going to...
Well, I can tell you the order if you want.
Up to you, Chris. You can reveal what you want to reveal.
Yeah, you can find out later. Like, the fact is that the top 4 are unchanged, but in a different order. I'll go with the bottom 4. You can have the bottom 4 right now. So, Buck and Trent are still 12th, Dream Team 11, Pakistan 10, Gridiron Gang 9.
Single digits, baby.
Because of your 100 point week and the fact that you've got some life in that team. Ben SSD's 8, Ollie Gardner's team 7, Badette at 6, Tom's Tyrant's 5, Forge Flies at 4. Roster team at 3, Ixan 2, and the Tugfards for the first time this year, or for a long time, at number 1.
Okay, there you go.
So that's not to curse you, Phil, but that's because your team's quite good.
Yeah, that's the confidence he needs at this point of the year.
Yeah.
They'll come out later this week. We'll do the milestones, stats, and standings. So we'll start off with the all-time West. We have a new leader at the top. Well, I say new leader of the all-time wins. My dad is no longer at the top, but it is still tied between Coach Barnes and Coach Merritt for the top. Let's stick with the career stats for now. Ben won last week, so he notched his 80th career win. Well done. And Pat lost. He notched his 40th career loss. Going to the regular season stuff, I'm not seeing any nice round numbers there, except my dad notched his 70th regular season loss. So that's the end of that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. So we'll go to the standings and stats, and I'll give a little playoff preview. So Tugfards, they have now clinched. They have won their division, but the league is still up for grabs at 9-3. Dream Team and Pakistan and bucking the trend all at 5-7 there. Portsmouth division, Ixan has now taken a 2-game lead. They're in the driving seat for this division currently with an 8-4 record. Badetnes and Tom Tyrants on their heels at 6-6, but with only 2 games to go. Might be too little too late, but the points are close, so if Ixan doesn't win both games and another one of those teams does, then it's going to be interesting. And then finally, Coach Gardner, I hope I don't play badly at 6-2.
Oh dear.
Sorry, not 6-2, 5-7. And then finally, Winchester Division, both Forge Flies and Ross's team, saving that Ryan this week, had a chance to clinch last week, and both of them lost. Go figure. They're both 8-4 now, and it's getting interesting because at one point it looked like you were both almost certain to play each other in the first round of the playoffs. Now it's all up for grabs because Ixan is obviously level, so the wild card can shuffle around too, so it could still
It could still be different. But you never know.
Ben Necessity's there at 4-8 and Gridiron Gang at 3-9. So, playoff picture as it stands. Excuse me. Tugfards is the 1 seed. Ben is the 3 seed. You are the 2 seed. And Ross is the 4 seed. It is almost all. We may, after this week, possibly will have it all locked up, because only Bedetnes and Tom Tarrant in the hunt. They're both 6-6. Need to win out and need basically Ixan to drop 2 or you or Ross to drop 2 to create the wild card. So there's still a couple of avenues open, but
I need my mate Ben to do me a favour this week, really. So,
so we'll go to the breakdown quickly. You are still top, Chris, even though you had a 3-8 week last week, but that has been a blip. The Tuckfields are second, 10-11, great week for them. Ixan's still second. Bizarrely, my dad's team is still fourth. They've actually been 6-5 than last week, but yeah, it's amazing they're still as high as they are.
They're so unlucky. The fact is that if they weren't in a division with Ross and I, they probably would be way higher than they are. But yeah, I can imagine how demoralising that is.
Yeah, they're the only team, in fact, not in the playoff race to be in the top 7 here, because the next 3 are Tom Tarrant, saving Matt Ryan. But Ednaders then down the bottom. I've leaped over. Actually, no, I was already ahead of Mike. Excuse me. But I had a 9-2 week last week, which is the only winning record in the bottom. From bottom 8 down, but everything is as you would expect there. Otherwise, on the coach ranking, no particularly great coach this year. Dream Team's top, but lack of depth. Bare necessities, much the same reason, with 115 on the bench. Palestine started off badly, but you can see they've been pretty good of late. Less than 20 over 4 weeks. You're still doing pretty well, Chris. Those 6-7 points are going to keep you up at night that you had last week.
They did.
Ross's team 8-19 last week as well. And then you get to the bottom half. I've slipped down a bit. I left 31 despite going over 100 points last week. Tom still had probably his best week of the season, over 300 in the year, but only 3 last week on the bench, and then Ollie's there as well. And finally, the true rankings, as expected. As usual, you are top, Chris, with Phil right behind. Ben is 3rd, and Ross is 4th. My dad, amazingly, still 5th. And then the playoff teams, though, the other ones, Bedetnes and Tom Sarah, 7th and 8th. Dream Team's doing quite well to be ahead of them. But they are being pinned up by the coach.
Coach ranking makes a hell of a difference there. Yeah.
So we will now get to the previews and see if we can do this in 15 minutes. But we know there's a lot of non-interesting games, so... no marquee matchup this week because it's all about the playoffs, of course. So we'll start off with the games that aren't of any interest. We'll start off with this one. It is a Stubbs Bowl, so but other than that...
Hang on, so we're in the right week. Yeah.
Oh, how did that happen?
That's weird.
How did that happen? Week 13, excuse me. We will start with this game anyway because it still has no relevance to anything. It's Gridiron Gang.
It's the Irrelevant Bowl.
The Irrelevant Bowl. There you go. Gridiron Gang take on Pakistan in the Who Cares matchup of Week 13, and Gridiron Gang got a win for a change last week. They're at 3-9. Pakistan 5-7. They're on a 2-game win streak. Currently, they're projected to win this one 88-87. History of this matchup. Let's take a look. Gridiron Gang are 5-1 all time against Pakistan, and we'll cover up the lineups in a second.
Yeah, right. I just want to say David Bloch. he's 248, 18 30 for 2 touchdowns, man. That's it. He's doing well. This guy's...
You QB needy teams out there, you're going to be kicking yourself.
That's it. I was going to say, you wish you picked this guy up. Right, so the Irrelevant Bowl. Right, so let's have a look here. Look, your team's on the up. I'm not going to lie here, because it just is, but... You know, you look here, Breeze against Atlanta. Atlanta have been better on D recently, but I like Breeze in this matchup.
And they're going to be out for blood after they embarrassed them in their home.
100%, yeah. That's it. Absolutely pants pulled down. That's it. Williams, great. That's it. You know, he just picks up where Marlon Mack left off. Lindsay against the Chargers at home, you'd back him on that. Jared Cook against Atlanta. He's been good recently. Since Breeze has come back, you know, he's been well worth picking up. More against Washington at home, like here. Hopkins and New England hate it.
I have been trying to. He's been in and out of my lineup all day. I'll show you my bench. So
and Jets in Cincinnati, by the way, I love that.
Yeah. Realistically, it's between probably him. If Julio doesn't play, maybe a rando player, Russell Gage, or maybe Benny Snell, or someone not to be played. I can't decide. Look, he's at home. We haven't seen New England face a receiver or a receiving core like him.
No.
When they played the Ravens, they were obviously put in their place. the Houston Texans aren't the Ravens, but I don't know. I've got some things.
But Deshaun Watson's still,
and DeAndre Hopkins is pretty good.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Quite. So it does make a difference that New England aren't playing absolute garbage, but then again, and not playing in the rain and the snow.
Yeah, it does help. Yeah, they're in the dome. So.
They're going to be shown up for what they are, which I'd like to think that Hopkins will do well, but you can't back him against the Patriots right now. But you got to play him. Anyway, it's better than what's on the other side. So I think Allen against Dallas. That's difficult away game, big primetime game today. 9:30. It's 40 minutes from now.
Dallas as well. They're going to be able to prove a point after
very much
losing
so.
in New England last week.
They want to come back. I think Bell against Cincinnati is nice, but I think again Donald's one of them guys. That again a plus matchup for them.
And they've not featured Bell really.
Not really. No, not at all. I'd say I think that any Jets receiver is a stronger play right now than they are. Devontae Adams has been great playing against the Giants. You'd like to think they'd be okay there, especially here, wide receiver 1. He did okay in San Francisco. Why would he not do well against the Giants? Yeah. Gallup against Buffalo, tough D, but at home, I think a beneficiary of Amari Cooper not being 100%.
Yeah, and Cooper in theory should attract Tre'Davious White, so he'll probably get the easier draw.
Yeah, that's it. And he did well in tough conditions last week. No touchdowns, nothing, but McLaurin is what he is. Against Carolina, I don't like it, especially with Dwayne Haskins as QB. So Tyreek Hill plays against Oakland. It's just fantastic. And Chargers against Denver. We saw the Bills do a job on them last week. There's no reason why the Chargers can't do that. Look, I think that this is a close game. I think you've got more playmakers. I think that you've got much more to be excited about. I think for Pat, Allen's got to play well tonight. Gallup's got to be the guy who takes the. That might
impact my Hopkins decision. If those guys don't do well, I might bench him for someone else.
But Tyreek's the guy, head and shoulders above everybody else. If he plays and goes off, so he's got a chance. I think the projections here are pretty accurate. I think there's going to be, I have agreement that it's going to be really close. I think your team's got way more life in it this week than Pat's does, and I think that Breeze is the guy who's going to turn it around for you.
Fingers crossed.
In Atlanta, I think that so earlier in the year you would have a surefire. That's a surefire, great matchup. At the moment, Atlanta seem to be playing a little bit better. We'll see.
I'm going to go with Pat's team, actually.
I don't want to chance it. You don't want to tempt fate. I get that.
Not tempt fate, just I got... You know what? It's mainly, obviously, the Hopkins thing. I
wouldn't worry about it, man.
Cook's been good as well recently, but, he's a tight end. They can always just disappear.
I've got a warm, fuzzy feeling about Drew Brees against Atlanta.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I so do.
We'll skip this game and come back to it because this is an interesting one. And we'll do this one instead, which is Ben, and we'll try and do it a bit quicker. We spent 5 minutes on an irrelevant game.
We're not going to do that. We're going to do. What I'm going to do for all the irrelevant games right now is going to be.
You know what? They're not even getting theme music. It's not worth it. So Ben is against Hope I Don't Play Badgley.
Right.
So currently the scores you can see here, 37-15. My dad didn't play the Bears, did he? Oh, I'm very surprised. He picked them up. Thank Christ he didn't. But he's still going with the Rams, so who knows? But 15 points for Allen Robinson. But Kenny Golladay and David Montgomery have done well so far for Coach Gardner. Let's take a quick look down. What are you seeing, Chris?
Well, I think that Wilson and Watson here, they've got to both do well in difficult matchups, albeit
Minnesota's not as tough. Their pass defense isn't great, and they're at home.
That's it.
Although Watson's at home.
But Watson's at home. That's right. Yeah. But I do think that Watson at home is a better. Wilson has a better play here. Mm-hmm. So I think that game's got shootout written all over it. By the way, too. Watson, on the other hand, is going to be. Is all or nothing at all. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. We saw in the last little bit there that we were touting Breeze for a big game. I think Julio against New Orleans, that's it.
He's got that separate shoulder injury, but
it's tough anyway. Yeah. It's tough anyway. Let alone with the things that he's dealing with. Cup's misfortune is that he's got a bad QB right now. Playing in Arizona is probably where you want to go, but not right now. Singletary against Dallas, spotty play. Golladay and Montgomery, obviously,
I think the points advantage is going to go a long way.
I hate the defense, by the way. Falcons D against Northern. I hate that. Thinking? I hate the Rams against Arizona as well.
I'm thinking he probably hasn't changed that from last week. So they were playing Tampa last week.
That's it. So that's hateful. But the time's not quite up yet. So you've got the time to change it. As Dave's team's been great all year. Points wise, just can't quite get it together. No. So provided his QB plays well, I don't see a problem with everything else. The fact is that Wilson plays well, he's going to throw it to Lockett, and Lockett's on the other side.
Yeah, that's true. Could be an interesting one.
So Kelsey against Oakland as well should be a bit of a ram raid. So I like Dave this week.
You think my dad's going to win?
I hope so. I know that the points at the moment don't show it.
Yeah, we just saw Coach Gardner come off a 50-point week.
That's it.
So you're right.
So there could be a massive swing here. And it's all dependent on. I presume the projections for Julio and that are way higher than they should be.
Probably. And so my dad to break his.
But it wouldn't surprise me again if Wilson saves the day for Ollie Gardner's team, because that's what he's been doing all year.
Yeah, sure. We'll go to this one now, and we'll get a quick theme tune in. Here we go. So.
We've got 7 minutes.
Forge Flies take on the Tug Flies. Tug Flies have already clinched, but Forge Flies with a win could clinch as well. Projections are currently 92 to... Wow, it's basically even, but the Tug Flies slightly ahead. History of this matchup all time. Forge Flies are 8-6 all time against the Tug Flies.
Plus matchup for me. You look at down Phil's lineup, and again, there's some tough ones in there. San Francisco don't like, Green Bay don't like. Well, playing both of them. At Pittsburgh, that's it. The Browns get turned over there. At Baltimore, at Denver, that's it. Again, at Houston, slipping up for the Patriots. Mahomes against Oakland's obviously prime time. Tonight, Prescott's got to turn up for me to start doing well.
Hilton's not going to play.
Hilton's not going to play.
So you'll probably put in...
I've got to put in, oh my word, who are we going to go with?
It's got to be Hollister.
It's got to be Hollister, I think, sit in the shootout. So we're hoping and praying on that one. Hoping and praying for Evans that he comes good. McCaffrey against Washington should be study. Yeah. Waller against KC again. That's it. It's an outlet. Say Hunter Renfro's out earlier on. I'd go with Darius Geis against Carolina. That's it. It's a good run matchup.
Funnel. Yep.
That's it. So and Washington like to run the ball. They're going to have to with Dwayne Haskins playing as he is.
Yep.
I hope that the Steelers make Baker Mayfield look a bit less dangerous. So. Look, this would be a really good way for me to get to the playoffs.
I think you're going to get it. Like you've got really good players, some really nice matchups there. On Phil's side, it's what they've been most of the season. Really, they need Mahomes to have a good day. I think because Barkley's not been the same. Ingram's got a horrid matchup, and then I don't trust the other players there. Allen's been covered by Chris Harris. I think we could see Tarkvots come back down to earth.
Well, I really hope so, because it was disappointing last week, to say the least.
So we are predicting then Chris to clinch this week and challenge for the league title the week after. Let's go to a little wildcard game and let's get a little jingle going. Come on, here we go. Let's go with this one. Tom's Tyrants play bucking the trend, and they need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They also need a hope for a loss or two as well. Bucking the Trend's currently winning this one 8-0, presumably from Matt Prater, that's right. But the projections are pretty much tied at this point. So, Chris,
this is it. I was bigging up Tom's team a minute ago, but look at this. I said Darnold against Cincinnati is good. Fournette against the quite frankly unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm amazed he's not benched him. I know he's the engine, but every player has not.
That's it. The Bucks D is the real deal. And you've got Chark at the same time, but he is the only receiver there that's worth having. Godwin, who knows what might happen? He could be 30 points. He could be 3 points.
Same with Carson. He basically got benched for Penny last week.
That's right. And I said, is Jeffrey going to be fit against Miami? If he is, great. But if he's not, that's not so clever. The Packers D I like in that matchup.
Yeah, that's a good one.
On the other side, there's not much I really like about Mike's team, I'll be honest, this week. That's it. Cousins in Seattle, he's either boom or bust. It's all or nothing. Gordon in Denver, don't like it. Kamara's been pretty inefficient all year. Playing in Atlanta, not bad, don't get me wrong, but he's hoping he's got to hope that he has a big game. Parker at home against the poorest Philadelphia Eagles.
They're healthy now.
But they have got better. They've got better, but this is Miami. We're still talking about Miami receiver. Come on now. That's it. DK Metcalf, again, as we're saying about this matchup against Minnesota and Seattle, I think that he's a beneficiary of Russell Wilson's quality again. Thiel's been brought in, but is he quite ready? And the Saints against Atlanta, well, that could be, again, is he the bloodbath or inspired pick? So look, I'm not gonna. You can't back a team like Mike's really.
It's like backing my team.
It
just doesn't feel right.
Exactly. It doesn't right now. I want to,
even though you did.
I want to, but I can't. So Tom Tyrants it is. But don't expect this to be.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right.
There's
some horrid matchups and some problem players there for Tom at the moment. Mike's team has shown competency. Then they haven't got 5 wins for nothing.
No.
It's a toss up for me. But
right.
we'll
this one needs no theme music at all because we know what's going to happen. Is that Lamar Jackson going to go to San Francisco against all the odds?
They're playing at home against San Francisco.
Yes, he's going to go to San Francisco. He's going to play against San Francisco this week. They're not going to travel well. He's going to go. You know what? Love that. Score a few touchdowns. That's it. What's on the other side? So you look at. And because, as we said earlier, it doesn't matter what the rest of them do because
but then they did the same time. They need to win and hope for some losses to stay alive.
Yeah, that's it. The one interesting thing here is the defenses. It's it. Eagles play awful Miami. The Jags play turnover prone Tampa. So I think that could well be a difference maker. Other than that, that's it. The rest of the team, I think they're going to cancel each other out. I think Mixon and Elliott will cancel out Jones and Williams. I think that Ertz, as you said, to the top of the show. It's it.
Dealing with a hamstring injury, but no indication he's going to miss the week.
Exactly that. Diggs in Seattle is difficult, and Ronald Jones. It's been a bit of an inspired pick, though. He was,
I think they're giving up the highest yards per carry. Maybe Jags defense.
He's off the trash sheet, but
he's been a good addition.
Do I like him over either Christian Kirk against LA at home or Tyler Boyd against the Jets? No. So, look, I think that Ollie's team will probably win, but again, it could be very close.
If the Niners stop Jackson, which I think they can at least slow him down, it's going to put an awful lot of pressure. Now, Ollie's got Jones and Williams, which has been a dynamic duo at times, and it is a nice matchup. That might be enough to get them over the line. But again, I could see a dream team win Wentz had an awful day
I can definitely see it happening. It's just a case of the fact they've all got to play right, and they haven't been doing so far.
So I believe this is the last game. Yes, so it's 2-2. Yeah, so we'll fudge the music again. We've got Ross's team against Ben. Winning in is the story of this game. So one of those playoff hopefuls is going to be granted a wish of one of these teams losing. And both these ones are going to want to win. So the projections do currently favour Ben 98-91. And Chris,
it's difficult this week. I mean, you look at Ben's team. You've got Jacksonville. That's it. Winston playing Jacksonville. They're not the same unit as they ever were. But can you really 100% trust Jameis Winston? No. You'll probably find out tonight whether you can trust Matt Ryan or not. But I think at home against New Orleans isn't necessarily a bad thing. No. He always plays much better at home, as we know. And then looking down the list there, you look at at Indianapolis, at Seattle, at Baltimore. 3 very, very difficult places to go for anyone. Let alone 3 stuttering offenses. That's it. Tennessee, Derrick Henry's been rolling people over, but that's it. Playing against that Indy run D's hard. Dalvin Cook, in Seattle. Who knows how it might go for them? And Kittle against Baltimore. Well, if there's one guy to turn it around, it's him. But I mean that is difficult. Calvin Ridley rides on the other side, so whatever happens with him, completely gets torn out. Gurley against Arizona is great, but only if they use him properly, and only if they're not behind. Panthers against Washington is obviously a great matchup. Ravens against San Francisco. That's it. Wouldn't trust that right now.
I can't see Ross's team winning this week. I really can't. There's too many players that are out of form, like Ryan, Michelle, Jacobs, Cooper.
That's right.
Half the team is out of form. The other ones have, apart from Thomas, Coleman's got a bad matchup. The Ravens they could do well, but Niners has been good too. I think Ben's probably got. He might not have the better players on paper, but I think he's got the better.
Well, I just think that at the same time, he's got guys who are big game players, and that makes a massive difference this time of the year.
Yeah. So apologies for the rushed end to the show.
Sorry.
We will give a proper show next week.
We will.
I promise.
Because it's more important to look back at what happens. Because we normally just talk
exactly. And half of what we say is completely wrong anyway. Because as you've seen by my record, I know jack shit. So I hope you enjoy the rest of Thanksgiving football. Have a good rest of your week. We will be back, as I say, next week. So until then, good luck in your matchups. Unless you're playing me, of course. Goodbye, everyone.